The next lesson is lesson 1.2. What are your non-negotiable values? So this is not something that I'm making up. I actually very fortunate that I get to learn from one of the global values person that I get to read his book and also get to hear him presenting. His name is Sam Silverstein, and Sam have written a book about non-negotiable values, and this is actually a book that Sam was fortunate enough to copy from the one of the CEO of a happy Texas state bank here in Texas as well, and is from the founder, the CEO of a bank. So it's pretty interesting how a banker don't talk about numbers, but actually talk about all of the values. And he was using the values in order to manage his company. And based on Sam's book, and I will share it with you as well. And I'm going to listing all of the books that I read so you can get the material from them. And if you're curious in learning further, then you can. So there are, and of course, I'm not the expert in these values. I'm just want to go over it. So it's a good reminder for you to coming up with your own set of core values and what do you can hold very close and dear to your heart. So according to Sam, there are 4 different type of values, and some of them they can be crossing over one versus another. So there are foundational values. Foundational values is the base of everything where it stands. And so as far as if you want to build something, you want to build a house, you want to build material, you want to build anything on top of it, you want it to be rock solid. So the foundational values is extremely important because that's the base, that's the core of who you are. And many people, especially with business owners, we are very hard worker. And the reason that people are buying from us is because of our integrity. I believe that, in every business owners who are successful and for a long time, they have to have the highest level of integrity. Because otherwise, you know what, you're gonna be one day you're gonna say something, the next day you're gonna change it, and when you change it, the stories, especially your stories about who you are, then you lost your credibility right there. So the foundational values are the example of integrity, respect, dignity, honesty, being an ethical person, being a sincere person, being an honest person, being a person that can be trustworthy. So that is foundational values. And I'm going to give you a set of all of these values so that way you can decide which one that is talk to you the most, because there are stories behind all of this. And for me, integrity was something that I really hold close and dear to my heart, because guess what, I started out as an auditor, and being an auditor, I have to be staying independent and skeptical from my customers. And because the public is relying on what I'm telling them, that, hey, if the company has reporting $50 million in revenue, I have to have some aspect and say that, yes, I did look at the number, I did do all of the testing, and that number looked considered to be reputable and it's reasonable. So integrity is something that I had been for the last over 20 years is I've been following that methodology. And also, back in school as well. So if you're gonna get through school and just by cheating, you're not gonna get any knowledge. So integrity have to be the key and the rules there, right? The next one is the relational values. The relational values are values that between how you treat another person, or how do you want the other person treated you. And many people are using what they call is the golden rule. You don't want to treat other people, you want to treat other people like you want to be treated. So it's truly the preference, the principle, the virtues associated with relationship, and both interpersonal and articulated in policy and social norms. So relational values, you can talk about trust, love, caring, compassionate, patience, commitment, empathy, reliability, and openness, to share information with one and another. So I hope by now you already get a little bit confused, right? Because we did talk about, respect and trust, and though it can be, a foundational values, but it's also relational values. So the next one is the type of the values that is also very important that we need to look out for. That is professional values. The professional values are the principle that are central to practicing in the professions. So let's say even if you are a person that manufacture a product, professional values is still extremely utmost important. Imagine if you are a person who manufacture baby formula, how important that is to hold to the highest standard, because the food that you are given is the formula to the baby, and baby, if they cannot be nursed by their mothers, then guess what, they have to rely on the formula in order for them to grow up, and that was the only source of the nutrition at the time that the baby can use and growing up into it. So the professional values is very important, because you're gonna put that professional values into how you manufacture the product. Just like I would put my professional values when I service my customers when we do a tax returns. We want to make sure that if we tell the person we're submitting, $100,000 of tax liability, we take the check, we make sure that we submit it to the IRS, because you don't know, actually there are many cases that CPA or the tax preparer actually take the money from the customer and never submit it from to the IRS, and that's a very sad story when it's come to for us as CPA hearing about that, because that's a huge ethical issues. So what is the professional value are consistent of? And a good example of professional values are commitment, excellencies. So excellency it doesn't mean you have to be the perfect, being a perfectionist, which, I fall into that trap before, which means that you're gonna complete everything to the best technical possible that you can do for a project. And professional values can be innovation, can be talk about productivity, can be talk about tenacity, accountability, self-motivation, dependable, you're flexible, you're adaptable, and you are creativity. So those are all professional values. Can anyone guess what's the fourth type of value? And this one, I didn't realize it either, and sometimes I think I crisscross it with the foundational values. The fourth one is community values. And so don't worry about taking note. By this time you should have the workbook that I sent it to you, and you can take note on the workbook as well. That is community values. What is community values? Community value is how do you see and act yourself within the community, which means that are you being a servant leaders? Are you talking about you also charitable in your time and in your service to a nonprofit organization, to a church? How are you with being your generosity? Do you stewardships? Are you also love doing teamwork? And are you a person that caring for others, especially in the medical professions, and then doctors and nurses, they have that tendency of being a very caring person. I mean, without that kind of values, it's very hard to follow that professions. So, and community values can also be listening as well, because that's you show that you care and you empathize with others. So now I share with you four different set of values: foundational, right? Relational, which is between you and another person; professional, which mean about your technical knowledge; and then the fourth is community values, which mean you and the community surrounding you. By this time, we're gonna go through the exercise, and you will have to coming up with the core values that are resonate to yourself the most, right? And I also want to share with you, this is one thing that I love boasting about my own CPA firm. We are developing a very strong core values. And so to us, our core values is the story behind who we are and what we do. And by the time that when we finish this exercise together, I want to be able to, that you coming up with your own personal values, and then at the same time that you can coming up with these values and having a stories brand for your own company as well. And I think, most of you, 9 out of 10, you probably already have a core values listed somewhere on the website of your company or in your handbook, and you're also practicing it. But I want to learn more about you. I want to learn exactly how do you do it? How do you take your very own core personal values and exemplify it into your own company? And let me share with you a quick example of how my company does it. Are you ready? So this is a portion of the website of my company, TNC CPA. And what we have, we put together in here in uh, a box, and we talk about integrity is our foundations. Our relationships are rooted in trust. We're embracing innovations. I mean, that's the reason why later on in other chapter, you're gonna see that I'm really pushing for innovations, because that's the only way out to get our company scale up. Innovation will drive our efficiency. We committed to excellencies. I used to be for many years being a perfectionist, and I wouldn't say it's to perfections. I don't think that any of us are perfect. Only God is. So I love the word excellency because it's also showing commitment, it's showing tenacity, perseverance, and that's all of that is going to excellencies. And we infuse joy and love into everything that we do. We also using our spirituality to guide our professional lives. Everything that I do, I truly believe in what has God leads me, give me the way, and I put 100% trust in Him. So spirituality to me is extremely important. And the next is that humility. Humility reminds us that we always have something to learn from others. And I kid you not, I'm sure a lot of you here that even though I help you with your coaching, you have absolutely so much wisdom that I want to learn from you as well. And we regularly express gratitude. I want to thank you for the opportunity, openness, guide our communication and feedback. Just like I want to know all of your pain points, share with me. And service means we're generous with our time and expertise. So that is our own core values. And I'm going to give you a couple of other examples of the company are doing really well with their core value. I would say Zappos is another one that have a very good, strong set of core values. And I love it so much as well. Um, if I have a product related business, I am embracing their core values actually. And by the way, there's nothing wrong if you copying other people's core values. the thing is, the hard part is not about creating the core values. The hard part is actually about protecting the core values. So as you can see, Zappos have something in here. It say, deliver wow through service, embrace and drive change, create fun and a little weirdness, be adventurous. Probably a lot of you gonna ask me, why is Zappos is an example? The reason Zappos is a good example because they was able to grow their company from a startup status to a $1 billion in sales within 5 years. And everything that they have been surrounding through is about delivering happiness to their customers. It's such a good model. So I want you to take a look at that, and also we'll see what lesson are we can learning from there. So Zappo is another one. And if we do, I have so many good examples of the core values. Netflix company is another one that I also use a lot with giving out example as well. So that we can go more into further detail, but they really have a strong set of values that they say when people are hiring at the company, they will use the core values to hire that person for. So I hope by now you see the importance of having a strong core values, and that's because I also learning from other successful company how and where they get to that piece. And the core values actually are go intertwine into your passion circle very, very strong. Is one of my writer, very brilliant writer, Amy Plaska. She has a great analogy to say that core value is our internal compass. It's our internal GPS. It's gonna help us to get where we are with our business. So hold on tight with me. We're moving slow, but don't worry because we need this internal GPS to get to where we want to go. So that's the lesson 1.2. What are your non-negotiable values? By the time we finish this lesson, I hope you have a strong set of core values. Minimum is 4. Some people go from 8 to 9 to 10, and there is no right or wrong answers. It's just a matter of you coming up with it, protecting it, and practice it every day. Everybody have to do the same thing. And good luck. I can't wait and excited to see everyone core value.